Hey everyone, back with another tutorial. So this one I want to talk about room to breathe. In room to breathe, what I mean is sometimes in a track, you want to give elements room to breathe by taking things out and not necessarily about keeping things in or adding more. Sometimes in a track, you'll be like, oh, it's not quite working and I'm not quite getting the drive that I want and I need something more. And in those times, sometimes it feels like the track is clogged and busy. And in fact, you just need less. I've done a video on mixdowns just before this. Please check it out on what I mean by that. That will help you a lot. But this one, we'll talk about taking elements out to make sure you have room to breathe. Now I'm going to play this section of the track. It was getting quite heavy when everything comes in. This is when the leads come in, the main riff comes in and some other melodic elements. And then I was finding it hard before to make all of this work. And even with this riff, it was too busy. And I needed to take things out. But it took me a while to even get to that decision. I was like, it's just not working. And then, unfortunately, life gets busy and I hadn't produced in a while and I was like, oh shit, I should actually, excuse the language, I should actually take things out. So I'll play this section of the track in its realized state and I'll tell you what I've done. So let's play this. Okay, so you can hear that these melodic elements are breathing quite nicely, but before it was kind of something like this. What I had was, I'd basically had this bass line. It was still there. The volume was much more up before I remixed it down. That's why I said check out the mixed down version of this track. And with these acids, that's how they are now. But before, this acid was something like this. And just adding those extra stabs, and the volume was way up. I had not mixed it down properly to make room for these leads. And the bass line had an extra layer, so it would sound something like this. Probably even worse. Probably just, and that probably might sound okay to you, but I can already tell. Probably sounded something like this. And the old riff was something like this. So I tried to overlay that, and it was something like... Sorry, I mean, even there, look, the acids. My point is, if I take all of this away and I just go back to what I had, take all these extra MIDI patterns away from the acids, take the bass line away, you get this again. So sometimes it's just about taking things away. It's not about introducing more. Because what ends up happening is you get more of a rhythm with these acids as well, because I like to do with acids, for example, what's called a question and then an answer. So if you go question, the other acid answers the question. That's actually very common in psytrance. So sometimes what you will see, you'll try to do like a static acid, and you will be like, oh, yeah, this sounds great. You know, it's nice. It's I'm just going. And that's how I'm getting my drive. That acid's nice. But no, sometimes it's better to create rhythm, and it frees up space, and it still gives you the same effect, because the bass line is what people's ears are following, not the acid. So you're actually doing yourself a disservice. You're creating less rhythm in your track. You're creating less space in your track, and you're making it too busy. And you're creating you're creating a bad listening experience for your listeners. And it's multiple elements coming in and out, and the static element is the bass line and the lead. So sometimes it's really just about making sure that you are making the right mixing decisions and not the wrong ones. If you have any questions on this, please let me know, but I will try to add more tips into the channel as I go. All right, thanks for listening, guys. If you have reached this far, give it a like, give it a subscribe. That'd be very appreciated, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.